Shalom, everyone. Tomorrow is a fast day, the 10th of Tevet. The sages established 4 different fast days that commemorate and remember the destruction of the 2 temples and the exiles that happened because of them. The first one chronologically is the 10th of Tevet. That is when the Babylonians surrounded the first temple, the city of Jerusalem, in preparation for destroying the first temple. And so this Friday, we have a fast day. Another thing that happened on the 10th of Tevet, according to tradition, is the Greeks, when they were ruling over Israel, at one point they demanded that a large group of sages would translate the Torah into Greek. And we're told that this is actually one of the reasons for the fast day. But a big question is, why would that be a reason for a fast day? Especially because if we look into the Torah in the book of Deuteronomy, in the Parshat of Ki Tavo, the Jewish people were commanded that when they come into Israel, they should take 12 large stones and write the Torah in 70 language, and then plaster it and display it in a place where anyone coming to Israel could read the Torah in their language. So in other words, it seems that it was a very, very positive thing to have the Torah in all these different languages. So what happened with the Greeks? Why is this a reason for or part of the reason for a fast day? The main reason is it's connected to the destruction of the temple. So I heard a beautiful explanation from Rav Ginsburg, and he said like this. He said, Hebrew is written from right to left, and Greek is written from left to right. So what does that mean? What would the difference be? So he explained that when you look at the Sfirot, the divine emanations, so the highest one on the right side is Chokhmah, wisdom. And the highest on the left side is Bina, understanding. And it's explained that Chokhmah, the wisdom that we're talking about, is not a book knowledge or amassing facts or even being smart. What it means is being connected to a higher level of wisdom, a more divine, spiritual source of wisdom. And Bina is explained as a more logical type of learning, being able to delve into the details. But it's based on logical learning. That's why it says in the Talmud that Bina is explained and described as understanding one thing from another thing. And we know that the Greeks were very much into logic, and they couldn't bear Judaism because not only is Judaism logical, but it has a spiritual, mystical, God-like dimension to it. And for the Greeks, this was, if it's not physical and material, and I can prove it in the laboratory, then it doesn't exist. I don't want to hear about it. And so Rav Ginsburg explains when the Greeks wanted to translate the Torah, their purpose was to take a holy, divine book and turn it into good literature, a good read. When we came into the land, we wrote the Torah in 70 languages. It was all in the spirit of the wisdom of the Torah. And so that is one of the reasons why when we talk about the 10th of Tevet, we include this idea of the Torah being translated into Greek. When we look at most of Jewish history, if we go back to Avram's whole mission was to teach the whole world about one God. And not only that, not just that there's one God, but ultimately everything is a manifestation of that oneness. And it was really Avram who first gave over a universal vision of a unity, a oneness of mankind, a spiritual global village. And the prophets of Israel continued that tradition. But because of our history, because of all of the exiles and all of the nations that tried to rule over us, and the Inquisition and the Crusades and the expulsions and the Holocaust and the pogroms and the ghettos, it was not allowed for Jews to publicly teach the world Torah. Going back to writing out the Torah on these stones in everyone's language so they could have access to the Torah. Now the world is a different world, and Jews no longer are in the ghettos and are no longer threatened to express their opinions. Unfortunately, there is large parts of the world that is bent on Israel's destruction. We see it in the current war right now. But nonetheless, in the world in general, because of the spread of Christianity and Islam, which both contain many of the ideas of the Torah, for the first time in history, the Jewish people have the ability to expose the whole world to Torah. This is not proselytizing, just like writing the Torah in 70 languages was not proselytizing, but it was a gift that we are offering the whole world. Ultimately, God gave the Torah to Israel in order to share it with the world. Avram's mission was to share the knowledge of one God to the whole world. And so now, despite all of the problems now, the current war and the anti-Semitism, nonetheless, and I would say even especially now, with such moral and ethical confusion in the world and darkness in the world, that now more than ever, the world needs the light of the Torah. And so we should be blessed. We're coming right after the holiday of Hanukkah, where we put our candles very publicly to share the light. Well, the greatest light in the world is the Torah itself. It is God's light that is in the Torah. And so, God willing, despite all the apparent opposition, the truth is the world is hungry for spiritual direction, for spiritual purpose, for meaning, for an ethical and moral foundation on which the human race can live. So may we take the light of Torah and spread it to the entire world.